And this one I'm gonna title. Um, Sorry that happened, man. I think I hit a dead spot. But this one, hopefully people will jump back in. But if they don't, just watch it later, guys. Basically, let's see if is it working. Yeah, it's working. So basically, what I wanted to say is I wanted to tell the story, and I'll title it that so you guys can see. I wanted to tell the story of how I got into the chainsaws. So that is, let's see. I'm trying to get this chat loaded. I'll just bring this here because my chat's not open. Boom. Clean this. There you go. It's better. Get the chat up. Live chat. There we go. All right, so I'm using the front so I can see the thing there. I like using the back. It's better quality, but this is all right. And sorry if I don't look at the right spot, but I'll try to. So basically, I'll tell you the story real quick, or hopefully quick. So basically, when a long time ago, probably 2010, maybe 2019, 2010, I got a job at a tree care a tree service here in Georgia. I learned a lot. I learned how to drive a big old truck with a trailer. I learned how to drive a bobcat. I learned how to do sales, door to door. Which my tactic wasn't hard selling. It was kind of just telling people, hey, we're kind of in the area. If you need anything, let us know. And sorry for the noise. We're really loud. And they're like, yeah, how much would this limb be to trim? It's like, oh, that's $200. Okay, $200. We're already there. Easy money, right? And it's a dead limb, so you're helping them. But it is soliciting. Not everyone likes it. But anyway, taught me a lot about kind of hard work and what is involved in hard labor. And then I did some kind of advertising stuff for them, which basically I just put out flyers for them. And that was pretty good, but it kind of wrecked my hips. My hips are really tight now, and I do daily stretches to try to stay limber. But um, but anyway, what I was saying is I got a job there and didn't know how to use a chainsaw. Never used one before. Always liked them. Always thought they were cool. Never understood how they work or filing a chain or any of that. And then I was doing the advertising, doing the door knocking, and then they got kind of short staffed. And one of the reasons is the guy is really nice, but he's a real kind of, how do you say it? Hothead, if that's the nicest term I can think of. So he would, really grind on you, which I don't particularly care for. My personality, people think I argue, so that it doesn't fit well with that. But we got along, and I always did stuff to help him. But long story short, I ended up quitting there because I told him, hey, I can't work on Saturday, like I had a prior engagement. And then he's like, okay. And then Saturday comes along, he's like, hey, we're working Saturday. And I was like, I cannot work Saturday. I already asked off. And like, I literally can't. Like, it was a personal issue that I had to take care of. But anyway, that's why I lost or quit the job. But anyway, I guess I, you know, quit the job on a good term because he was like, hey, are you coming back to work me? And then was expecting me to come back on Monday, which was kind of, I was like, no, dude, you know, I quit and then you told me you fired me. So I'm not coming back, buddy. Like, I liked working with the trees. Oh, I also learned about firewood, seasoning firewood, that kind of thing. And I learned like you can cut the tree and then you can sell the firewood. So, or you can give away the mulch or whatever. Or you could sell the logs if you get some logs. But anyway, long story short, I didn't know how to use a chainsaw. And then the thing that kind of got on my nerve one day is one of the guys there, Carlos. He was from Honduras. He literally walked from Honduras, through the border. I don't believe legally. You know, ask who you want. I don't know. Didn't really speak English, but nice as can be. Guy would give you the shirt off his back. Very cool. I was in contact with him for a while, but I guess he's off his Facebook. But yeah, he would call me up and say, Gringo, Gringo, Gringo. That's what he would call me. I know it's derogatory, but he didn't mean it mean, it's just kind of fun. And I would say, Senor, Senor, Senor. It's just like brotherly love. But this is a long-winded story, guys. But anyway, he was on the ground filing the chainsaw after cutting some trees. And I was like, oh, do you guys want me? You guys can go do something else and I'll file that chainsaw. And they're like, or he wasn't like that, but the boss was like, no. I was like, why? He's like, because you got to know what you're doing. I was like, what? Filing a chainsaw? It's like, it's just a file and you put it in the tooth. What do you got to know how to do? Like, so I didn't like that someone told me that you got to know, which is true, but it goes back to, which I'll probably be saying it more on the channel, it just goes back to being negative. So there's a positive way. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. Hey, do you want me to file that chainsaw for you? Oh, no, thank you, but I can teach you how. It's a very complex, like it looks really easy, but it's very complex. You can watch me, or something like that, or to be, I don't know, be positive. So anyway, that kind of irked me because I don't like people saying like, you can't do that or you don't know what you're doing. It's like, yeah, I may not know, but I can know, you know? And then one day we did this job. We had to go to Atlanta, which I try not to go to Atlanta unless I have to. I don't care for it. There's traffic, and then you're either running into a bum or somebody that you don't want to run into. So there's no point. There's nothing down there for me. I don't want to go downtown to anything down there. But um, but we had a job down there, and they had a 450. I think it was a 450 Rancher. That was one they were using as like they had They didn't have, they had like a 201 as like the topping saw. And then, no, it wasn't a 201. It was like the, whatever the steel two, regular, not top handle, but the back handle, whatever that is, that's what they had as a topping saw. And then they had a still like 600 backpack blower. And then they had, what they have? They had like a 660 for the like big stumps. Barely got, I think they had like a 36-inch bar on it. And then they had, what did they have? Then I think they had like a, I think it was like a 40, yeah, they had like a 44 Magnum or 440 Magnum, excuse me. And then they had that 455 Rancher. So they didn't even have that many saws, guys, which is fine. It worked. That's all you really would need. You could do a lot. Get an Echo topping saw, get a Echo 590, and then get the Echo 7910 or whatever that is, and then or 7310 or whatever it is. You're good to roll. And then they had a Moorbark chipper, and then they had a stick shift GMC kickback or whatever that truck is, and then they had a Chevy natural gas chipper truck, and then a Bobcat and a trailer and stuff, and then a couple trucks. But anyway, this guy Carlos, he had the 455 Rancher, and then we had a job in Atlanta, and they dropped me in basically the chipper ground crew guy, and then we just started on the brush. And I've never used a chainsaw, so I didn't even have chaps or a helmet. I just had ear protection, and that was it. And I was just going at it. But I saw Carlos, how he would do it and how he would cut the limbs up. So I had kind of a good idea of how to do it. And dude, I was ripping it. And I kind of fell in love with that, but I knew like I'm not very good, so I'm not an expert. So me being not an expert, I didn't really think anything about it, after that, but I kind of got bit by the bug, right? Then long story short, then I had to cut down a tree at my old house, and I had a hand-me-down chainsaw, a old Poland, whatever the cheapy Polands are, homeowner saw. Dull, it was super dull, barely, I could barely get it to run, but I got it to run, and I got it to kind of cut, but it was cutting it and running hot, dude, because I did not know how to sharpen. I didn't even have a file. I just ran it. But I cut down a Bradford pear tree, and I was like, yeah. So, but I was like, it's a lot harder than I thought. And the reason it was hard, because I'm having to force the thing to cut because it's dull. And that's super dangerous, which I didn't know at the time, but it is. But anyway, I did that. And then I kind of, years passed, and then I kind of got out. I didn't get out of it. I just got out of the job, so I wasn't in the tree stuff. So then I got into, I've always been into cars, but I got into cars more, and that kind of took the spot. And then did my car thing. Then I met my wife. The car thing was on the back burner, but then I needed to do some work here at my house, at me and my wife's house. So what did I do? I bought this son of a gun at Lowe's. I don't even remember how much it was. I think it was like $150, $100 something. And then I ran it brand new chain, brand new bar, and then I ran that thing. And then I was wondering, I like ran it, and then it got worse and worse. And I was wondering why, hold on, why is it cutting so bad? And then the bar's getting hot, and it's just looking like trash. So I was like, I need to figure this out. So I figured it out, figured a file, then I started to do it. And I filed the chain, but I didn't do any of the rakers, and it cut better. So I'm like, I'm on to something. So then I went to YouTube and looked up chainsaw sharpening videos. And I don't remember the video I watched, but you know, it said something about do the rakers and do this and that, and then that's kind of how I learned. And I also learned how to do my business, lawn care, on, sorry, I'm looking at you weird though. I'm not used to it on this side. I also learned lawn care business. These flies in here. I learned lawn care business off YouTube. I learned how to fix my Porsche, whatever you want to call it. YouTube and the internet, you know, forums and stuff. But it's just YouTube, guys. So that's how I learned. And then that kind of, it didn't give me the bug because I already had the bug, but I was like, oh, I'm getting this. And then I had to split some, I was like, I want some firewood. Then I was like, I hate this stuff they sell at the store. So the stuff they sell at the store is horrible. So it's like, it's not even kiln dried, but it's like, hopefully this live is working, guys. It's not loading on my app, but it's not kiln dried. It's like, it's like basically wet wood, guys. And I got some and I was like, this is not working on here. This is not burning good, dude. This is horrible. And it's gonna ruin my chimney, you know, put creosote in it. I knew that because of the firewood business, the tree business stuff. So I was like, I gotta get some firewood, dude, for next year. So I went and got this birch. This guy was getting rid of a whole birch tree, and I went and put it in the car I have now. At the time, it was my wife's car because I had a white 944. It wouldn't fit in there, all the wood. So I crammed it in the Nissan Murano, did that, and then I was trying to split it. I was like, I can't even split with this goofy axe. And then I was like, oh, I remember, I need a maul. And then I got a maul, and then I was like, oh, then I'm looking at other axes and stuff, you know, and then I had to go get an oak. I got an oak tree, so I got some oak wood, split that, and then I'm just kind of getting the bug, but I'm just going about my lawn care stuff. And then what happened? Then we had to take down a big pine tree. So then I rented a log splitter, and then everything just came back. The smell of the wood, you know, the splitter, splitting the wood. It just was like, this is kind of what I like, you know, so that kind of stacking, I even like stacking the wood. I like stacking, but it's my least favorite. But I like the final look of stacking. So that's kind of what bit me. And then I started to get into the chainsaws. Like I always liked chainsaws, but I was like, I really don't understand. Like I understand two strokes, but I really don't understand that much about them. So then I just got more. I got the Echo, and then I just kept getting more saws. And then it's basically the start of my, some would say, chainsaw problem started on YouTube with my channel. So you guys can go back and watch it. And like I say, I'm no expert when using stuff, but I'm sure I'll do stuff along the lines that may help you. And you guys definitely help me. I get ideas and all that about that, about other stuff. But then I started to figure out what the saw's like to get modified. And then I'm like, what am I doing? I love working on cars, but they're super, chainsaws are expensive, but cars are super not affordable, and you don't really ever get your money out of them unless you're a well-known builder. So I was like, I can tinker with these and it's more satisfying. And then I love cutting wood. That's probably my favorite, using the chainsaw, cutting the wood. And then it's just everything, the smell, the cut, the split. It's just everything that it has in the chainsaw world. So that's basically how I got into chainsaws in a nutshell. And now I'm getting into them even further. So the farther you go, the deeper you get. So hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'll title it so you guys can watch it later. No one's watching now because I don't think it's working, but it's hopefully recording it. So I will talk to you guys later, and thanks for listening to my story, guys.